So high scoring starter pack for this EX. This EX has 2 different modes, and you activate them based on the number of Vanguard ships you bring. So if you only bring 1 Vanguard ship, then you activate Toho mode. And in Toho mode, the boss has 9999 hit as usual for EXs, and basically your solo Vanguard can only take like 10 hits or whatever, depends on how much HP they have before they die. So you do have to dodge, but in exchange the boss is less tanky, so you can finish the battle faster, and that's required for scoring higher. The other mode is if you bring 2 or more Vanguard ships, like that, and the boss does a lot less damage, but is also tankier, a lot tankier, so the battle will last for longer. And I guess like 3600 and below are all the full Vanguard mode, and anything higher than that is like solo Vanguard. So the easy mode, the non-Toho mode, for low scoring, I don't think we need a tutorial for that because this mode is actually really easy. It's like the easiest EX of all major events that we have so far. Like all you have to do is bring some tanks like Azur or Anchorage, and then preferably Aurora for damage debuff, but like Helena also good, and then bring someone else like random shit. And then for the main fleet, you can auto it by putting like Unicorn isn't even required. If you have Unicorn and like 2 Rainbow battleships, then yeah, it's usually easy. I mean 3 Rainbow battleships, like that. But if you don't have Rainbow battleships and you're using gold battleships, like I mean preferably good gold battleships, then you might need a healer for your Vanguard to survive for longer. So like this is a sample fleet that could probably work. And yes, Force Fight is gold. So in this video I'm talking about the solo Vanguard mode, and basically, I mean, there's not much of a tutorial, it's just dodge better. So you have to bring good enough damage to actually kill the boss, preferably in 2 strikes, but 3 strikes is also fine if you can dodge for that long. I'll use no cats, and also I have 0 firepower attack, and or Gears Arch does have firepower attack, but Yorktown has 0 aviation tech. Just to nerf my own damage a bit for educational purposes. Basically put anti-light gear as the boss is light armor. Let's look at the stats actually. So here the second line is the easy mode if you put 2 or more Vanguard ships. So in easy mode the boss has evasion and luck, and also more HP, but she does a lot less damage, like firepower torp much lower, and hit is also much lower. Well, if you only have 1 Vanguard ship, then the boss has standard hit, which means that every hit is a crit, basically. But like the crit rate is very high, and you can't dodge them. And also higher stats all around, except for the defensive stats. And since the boss has 0 evasion and 0 luck, your own ship's hit does not really matter. The boss has less HP and also has a skill that makes her take more damage. So this messes all the skills of the boss. And somewhere this part is if you have 2 or more Vanguard ships, so we don't care about that. So this is the buff that the boss gets when you have only 1 Vanguard ship, and basically the boss disables your Eco Union elite damage control. So your Helena putting this thing down is useless. It's just 500 HP. The skill doesn't actually work. The boss disabled the skill. And the boss also disables 2 specific ship skills, one of which is 17-320 is Laffy's skill. So Laffy, the Fiercer when cornered skill, gets disabled, which means that she doesn't cap damage anymore to 10% HP. So if you take your Laffy 2 into battle and the boss hits her for 2000 damage, then she will take 2000 damage instead of capping it to 300. And the other skill that got disabled is Quick Takeoff. So no more Ranger 1 striking. And those are the 2 skills that got disabled specifically. And there are some other things, or not. So if you enter the battle actually with 1 ship, the boss tells you that she disables your augments and skills, but that's actually not true. So if you look at the message here, your fleet's augment modules and skills will be ineffective, but that's actually false. Your augment modules still work, except that for the slash, your augment slash attack, usually it clears enemy bullets, but it doesn't clear enemy bullets here. The purple and red that are zigzagging across, those don't get cleared by augments. But that's not because the augment isn't working, but it's because those bullets naturally don't get cleared by augments. The augment slash will actually clear these the red balls that are like here, going out in a circle. So like that's proof that the augments actually do work. And that's all the relevant things that the boss does. Something irrelevant that the boss does is that when the battle begins, she clears all of your bullets and airplanes from the screen, which like really isn't relevant. It's only like if you have a preload airstrike and the preload airstrike gets used immediately, then it like all the airplanes disappear. But nobody's using preload airstrikes here. So back to gearing, because the boss has 0 evasion and luck. Stag is useless. So you either put firepower or don't put a gun at all to lower the ship power. And otherwise, other than that, it's just like anti-light gear. So because the boss has 0 evasion and luck, the hit from Officer's Sword doesn't matter. So we take a bowgun, but then bowgun has the skill that decreases damage to light and the boss is light. So make the bowgun +9 to disable the skill. Like that. And Helena, this thing is useless. Helena does need a bit higher speed, so put a boiler on her or use attached with the speed skill, the speed talent. But other than that, you can put HP, I guess. And then time to die. These zigzagging bullets are like really disorienting, so like it might take a while to get used to them. Oh, I forgot to talk about the boss damage skill. So it's somewhere here. Here. So the boss, every 5 seconds, the boss takes 10% more damage. So like after 10 seconds, for example, the boss takes 20% increased damage. So basically, the longer the battle goes on, the more damage each of your main fleet strikes will do to the boss. Which means that if you're using carriers like Yorktown, then it's better to save their 2 strikes. To save your airstrikes until you have 2 stacked up, and then I mean, just delay the airstrikes as long as possible without capping on it and preventing the next reload. But for battleships, you don't get to choose. You just have to fire the gun as soon as it loads. Right now. This part, you just like spin around in a circle. There's not much to say about that. The yellow is easy, red is medium, and purple is hard. And now Helena scans again, and ideally you don't die. I mean, ideally you kill the boss within 2 strikes. So then, like, that time when Helena scans, dump all of your attacks and hopefully the boss dies. If the boss doesn't die, then you have to go dodge the next part, which is harder to dodge actually. And Kearsarge's airstrike you have to use immediately because she can't hold 2. So use it so she starts reloading. Just save Yorktown's airstrike for later. And this time Helena didn't stand, so the airstrike actually does clear those purple spinning bullets. The zigzag bullets at the beginning though, they don't get cleared by airstrikes. So this part just don't get hit by those torpedoes like I did. So you have to pay attention and then just move slightly up or slightly down. The small purple circles don't do that much damage. You can just walk through them or sail through them if your ship has HP. Helena didn't scan here, so I'm not going to use Yorktown's strike.
SG そして敵の所在を録音よ。自由のために。戦闘評価完了。私が MVP。
Oh, that wasn't actually really high score. So 5,137 is with 3 strikes and max level Helena. And also like pretty high enhanced gear. So of course the lower score the lower fleet power your fleet has, the higher score you get by killing the boss in the same amount of time. So if you're hardcore Toho player, then you put a level 1 Helena like that. And of course make sure she has max level skill and then put boiler on her. And then basically you can't get hit at all, or you can get hit by like one low damage bullet. And yeah, so basically get good at dodging, and then try to decrease your main fleet gear as much as possible, like using +0 shells. Or if you go even further, you can just remove the shells completely.